Hey Clubhouse, Erin here. We are now on Ko-Fi, a support platform where you can help us grow while gaining access to exciting new Storytime adventures like never before. Head to ko-fi.com and search Hippocampus Clubhouse in the Explore tab, where you'll find multiple ways to offer support, from one-time donations to choosing one of 4 membership options, all of which allow you even more access to both me and the Clubhouse, with special ways of saying thank you, including a personal shout-out to you right here on the podcast. Whether you're a monthly member, a one-time contributor, following us on Instagram, or simply love tuning in and sharing our story time with friends, we are so thankful for your support. Now, on to the show. Hi friends, welcome back to the Hippocampus Clubhouse, a fun and inclusive SEL-based storytelling podcast for kids. Erin here, and today I'm wondering, have you ever been told you're curious or heard the word curiosity? I sure have. Curiosity, or being curious, means you have a strong desire or wanting to know or learn something a whole lot. The best way to explore your curiosity is to ask questions. Have you ever explored your curiosity? Have you ever asked a lot of questions about something or someone? Have you ever asked so many questions that you just can't stop asking questions because you just want to know more and more and more and more? Me too. Today, we're discovering curiosity with the help of a little girl who has a ton of questions. Just like you and me, she is curious about everything and always wants to learn more. But what happens when our curiosity about the world and everything in it becomes a challenge for those around us? Today, we're finding out with a book from our special Storytime Voices guest, my son, Bryant.
This is Daytime Stories of Bryant and Mommy. My name is Bryant and I'm 5.5 years old. And my book is The Girl with the Big Question.
Now, let's get comfy cozy and ready to open our hearts and minds with The Girl with the Big Questions. Written by Brittney Winn Lee. The Girl with Big Questions. There once was a girl with twinkling eyes and a very curious mind. This girl was always asking questions whose answers weren't easy to find. The world is so very interesting, she wanted to learn all she could. From what makes a plane stay in the sky to what makes each person good. Her days were filled with adventures galore since her mind was so full of wonder. How long can a turtle stay in its shell? And why does lightning come before thunder? Why can't people live on the moon? And what happens to stars when they fall? When will you let me stay up all night? And why even have a bedtime at all? What does the dog do when I'm at school? And hey, how was the whole world made? And why do we have big hearts that can feel hurt and upset and afraid? Could I fly if I got a good running start? The nearest volcano is where? Are monsters real? What's Spanish for blue? And is it okay to cut my own hair? From the moment she opened her eyes for the day to the time she was tucked in bed, she'd ask and ask and ask and ask every question that popped in her head. At first, her neighbors, teachers, and friends tried to answer her wonder-filled mind. But after a while, their encouraging smiles were replaced by the rolling of eyes. She noticed her questions were making them tense, and one day her class hit their limit. After she asked a dozen things about clouds, the class hollered, "Ugh, please stop! Just quit it!" Embarrassed, the girl tried to quiet her thoughts and not raise a voice so curious, so that no one would be too uncomfortable, or even worse, no one would be furious. But one day she found the nest of a bird built low and exposed near to the ground. Why would a nest not be in a tree, she wondered, and then she looked around. She was all by herself with no one to ask, so she ran to the library shelves. She read about cities and the lack of safe places for birds to build nests for themselves. Like hunting for treasure, she searched and learned more answers that made her frown. With an urgent report, she announced to her class, "There are not enough trees in our town." The class, now moved by this information, asked questions about how to embark on a project to help both the birds and their neighbors by planting more trees in their parks. The girl knew then that big questions are good and answers aren't just things to know. They are things to discover alongside of each other. Asking questions is how we all grow. The end. So it seems, friends, that having big questions and being curious about the world is what makes it a better, more exciting, and helpful place for us all, even the birds. If the girl in our story hadn't have been so curious, her community would have a lot less trees, which means a lot less nature, a lot less shade from the sun, and a lot less homes for the birds that needed to make nests. All of this was remedied by one person asking questions and doing all she could to find the answers, even if she had to do it all by herself. Being curious is one of the best things about you, and in life, you should never stop asking questions. It's how we all learn and grow. Sometimes others may not like the questions that you're asking, or how often you ask them, or maybe not have the answers that you seek. But it doesn't mean that you're doing anything wrong and should never ever feel like you need to stop asking questions. Curiosity is a superpower. It's what makes life so exciting. And if you think about it, you wouldn't be where you are if it wasn't for your curious questions. When you were a baby, you once thought, "What if I could stand instead of sit? What if I could walk instead of crawl? What if I could climb and run and jump and dance and skip and hop?" And here you are now doing all of those things. All because you asked the best question in the world. What if I could? What about Bryant? What did he think about this story? Bryant, tell us, what did you like about this book?
I like that they stopped being mean, but they realized that there's not enough trees in the world because people keep cutting them down to make our paper. And if they keep cutting them down, we're not going to have any birds, and they're going to have to build their nests on the ground.
And what did all of her amazing questions help with?
Making a tree.
Yep, that's true. What's something that you learned about this book?
That being kind is how we grow.
Oh, I love that. And why is that important to you?
Because if we don't be kind, then we're not going to have grown-up friends, kid friends, or even teenager friends.
That's true. That's really insightful. Thank you,
Yeah.
Bryant. Friends, I hope you enjoyed today's story. And if you did, have a grown-up click the link in the show notes now. For more stories like this one, visit our website at hippocampusclubhouse.com to access our one-stop bookshop and learn how you can visit our virtual library and more. Subscribe to never miss a story time with us and follow us on Instagram at Hippocampus Clubhouse to join the fun. Before we go, I want to say a big thank you to our Ko-Fi and Patreon supporters. Your contributions allow our free story time to reach children just like you all around the world. Learn more on how you can gain more Clubhouse perks by visiting our website or clicking the support link in the show notes now. Friends, thank you so much for joining Bryant and me for Storytime today. And until next time, remember to keep telling your story with an open heart while listening to others with an open mind.